go.
All right, I'm taking these off because everyone's going to make fun of me. This is Ethan Skolnick for Before Floor on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Also catch 5 on the floor after today's game and the post-game stream, which will be hosted by our Alphonse Sidney, who's had an interesting day on Twitter, so you're not going to want to miss that. I think the drinking started early. We've got a full show for you today, this pregame show, the Before Floor. Wearing the same shirt, myself and Brady Hawk, both wearing our Bubble Dribble shirts, which you can find on the website. Also, Alejandro Villegas, my other side, there's Brady's shirt. Alejandro Villegas, our producer. Below me, we've got Alfredo Arteaga of 3 Yards Per Carry on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Their latest episode is up, by the way, so make sure you check that out. Preview of Dolphins Patriots. A lot to talk about in sports today. I don't know why the local radio shows were focused on other things. Underneath me, Adam Borre. You can find him at Clutch NBA at 5R. He's got a cool hat. You can also find that on our website. 10% off with the code FloorPass. 10% off with the code FloorPass. I don't know how long that's going to last, so as long as we're feeling nice here. Let's get right to it. Alejandro, you want to play the video? You got the video?
Yes, sure. We have this video coming from Malika Andrews, and this was posted earlier in her Twitter account.
Antetokounmpo walking down the hallway. We've since found out, first reported by Shams over at The Athletic, Giannis will not play tonight. Mike Budenholzer kind of kept it close to the vest, said he was going to give it a shot, at least to see if he could play in the pregame, but that is not happening. So no Giannis. I think this is the right decision. You can check out my video on YouTube to that effect. Let's get right into it, Brady. How does this – it's one thing to lose a player during a game, and you've got to make a quick adjustment. It's another thing when you were preparing for 48 hours that this would be the likely scenario, that Giannis might play but probably not. And obviously they had devoted a week and a half of preparation to Giannis playing, so they had that in the bag, but they didn't have a lot for Giannis not playing. How much do you think that will help the Heat, that at least they had a little bit of leeway this time?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot more leeway, like you said. But I think Spoelstra said yesterday that they were preparing for both either way. And it was funny because Andre Iguodala said that they were expecting him to play, which that's the way they were kind of leaning. So it's kind of funny. But the thing that stands out to me with this matchup now, it just reminds me more of like the Indiana matchup more and more now. I think that's just Indiana even had a little bit more of offensive weapons than they have right now. I think they have to do a better job of obviously guarding Chris Middleton, and they're going to have to start double teaming him like they did Warren. How they just pretty much just shut him down in that series towards the whole time. But I think if they just sit there and just constantly double team him with the weapons they have on the defensive end with all their wings, I think they'll be in pretty much good shape, because we've been saying that the other players on this team have to step up throughout the series, and they haven't. So now without Giannis Antetokounmpo, they're going to really need to step up today.
Adam, one of the things we talked about the pod, and you made a guest appearance on the pod last night, was that the Middleton performance got blown out of proportion. He was 0 of 6 in the fourth quarter and 12 of 28 overall. I reposted a video that showed him making shots like MJ. I think we've gotten carried away.
A little too much.
A little too much. Okay, I think there's a place between swingman Mo Williams and MJ. Yeah. Somewhere in between is where Chris Middleton probably lies. My concern is, and I get Brady's point, but my concern is over-focusing on Chris Middleton today and allowing then Lopez or Bledsoe or somebody else to beat you.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think the best way for the Heat to approach this is whoever had the assignment on Giannis is now they're assigned on Chris Middleton. So we saw for the majority of the series, we saw Bam on Giannis. I honestly think that Bam should be guarding Chris throughout the majority of this game. Wow. We know that he has the capability to do so, and you just let the other guys beat you. You live with whatever Chris Middleton gives you when he's guarded on, or when he's on Bam, but I would not let someone like Tyler Hero or Kendrick Nunn guard him for the majority of the game. We saw in the third quarter, Tyler Hero and Goran, to the extent, were getting switched on to him, and I think the Heat need to avoid that somehow.
Adam, who do you think starts for Milwaukee in his place?
That's a tough question. I think they're going to go with the 3-guard lineup.
Start George Hill?
Yeah, I think that's the way they have to go with it. Because
if they're doing that, then you could conceivably put Bam on him a little bit more if they're going to go that small. Now, if they go Where would they even go, guys, if they went bigger? I'm trying to think. If they
Marvin Williams.
Yeah, Marvin Williams. It doesn't really give you a lot these days.
Yeah.
Just a spacer at this point.
They're down 3-1. They just throw Ursani Ilyasova in there, just try to mess things up for Miami.
Or they could just play. They could play. They could play box basketball, turn the clock back 10 years, and just start Brooke Lopez and have him put up 25 shots.
Like you'd start Robin Lopez and let Brooks
Yeah.
go with him, right?
Yeah.
I've been a little surprised that Robin hasn't gotten any minutes in this series. I know he has not played a lot in the bubble at all, but his was not a game that I thought would decline that much because it was never based off, great athleticism or skill level. It was kind of an energy game. I'm a little bit surprised. I mean, I would expect either him or Ilyasova will get minutes tonight. One of them will get a little bit of a look.
Don't say that word to me. Ursani Ilyasova. I think this game is really simple. You asked earlier what should be the devotion to Chris Middleton. Just smash him. Make him the focus of the game. You have to think that Budenholzer, I don't think he's sitting there in the locker room saying, okay, we're going to use Chris Middleton as a decoy. I think he's trying to drum up a game plan where Chris Middleton is going to put up 30 shots today because I think that's what they think is their only shot. They have to get him off, and they have to have him playing well. So I would devise a game plan to just take him out of the game early, force him to get to other things, and then force them to try to handle your game, which they've proven they can't with the MVP, so they shouldn't without him. So
to that end, though, I get to a certain degree the point of getting Bam on him more, but then, I mean, you have another, all defensive candidate, and those teams, by the way, are going to be announced on the 6:30 show prior to the game before Reggie Miller makes our ears bleed. These teams are going to be on there. You have another all-defensive team candidate. Can't you just say to Jimmy Butler, look, dude, you're focused tonight. Take Chris Middleton out.
yes.
Okay? Whatever you do, we're going to leave the offense to Goran and Tyler to initiate, okay?
And I think
Chris Middleton out.
I think with Giannis out, it just allows Bam he could start double teaming a little bit more. He could be more lenient with his defensive matchup and everything. So this just with Giannis out, it opens up everything for Bam with his defensive instincts and everything like that.
Alfredo, you just got called the Heat ultimate Heat Homer, which is remarkable since you do our Dolphins podcast. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, I'm the Heat homer.
Jason on this stream is always talking about getting his ex-wife back. You don't want to get your ex-wife back.
I picked Heat in 7, so if anything, I was a Heat pessimist in this series. Okay,
Yeah,
because this thing is over tonight.
I had him in 6. All right, let's get to a couple of things on the rotation end. Adam, we did delve into this a little bit yesterday. There's no way that Eric Spoelstra can play just 7 tonight like he did in the second half. Olynyk is going to play. Hero is going to play. Crowder is going to play. All of them are questionable, but kind of expected to play. Derek Jones Jr. tonight, over under 10 minutes. What do you think, Adam?
I'm gonna go with the under, but not by a lot. I want to say around 7-8 minutes. He'll get some action on one of the guards. I think he's actually gonna just end up taking Kendrick Nunn's minutes, and I think the Heat are gonna go, 8 guys deep. I don't think any more, any less. Just the right amount for them to get them over this series.
Brady, who plays more minutes tonight, Nunn or DJJ?
Well, I think none does, but I think Derek Jones Jr. should. I said on the pod the other day that the problem was all season with Derek Jones Jr. playing in the lineup was that he was it was kind of the offense was a little kind of mashed up, and he wasn't going to spread the floor with his jump shot and everything. But you watch those games, and Kendrick Nunn kind of messes up the offense, and the spacing is just so off when he's in. So I think that you look at a problem with Derek Jones, and he doesn't seem like much more of a problem than Kendrick Nunn. So I think Derek Jones should definitely get the minutes, and he has the defense. So it just seems like a clear option there, but we'll kind of see where he goes.
All right, and the other guy I'm kind of curious about is Olynyk because
we lost Ethan. So he was going to say, I don't know what he was going to say, but he was going to talk about Olynyk. So what do you guys think Eric Spoelstra is going to do today with the Canadian? Is he going to play a lot of minutes or kind of the same that we've seen so far in the series?
I think last game he just didn't play many minutes because he was just coming off that injury and he was just being a little bit just careful with what he was the amount of minutes he was playing him. But I think today he should get a lot of play. He's played pretty good against Milwaukee, even throughout the regular season and everything else. So I think he should get a decent amount of minutes, just barring how he's feeling, how his injury is.
Sorry about that. We give you a call on this.
I got you. I got your question.
I appreciate you filtering in. There's a good time to break here. Let you know too. You can get the t-shirts on our website. Use code FloorPass, FLOORPASS for 10% off. All right, let's transition a little bit off this series because I think most Heat fans are expecting the gentleman's sweep, and we'll circle back to it. But now, and Abel has a question here, which I think is appropriate. The Celtics looked yesterday like they're going to finish this thing. Toronto's proud. Toronto are their champions, or at least, they've got all their champions back, but a couple from last year. But I just don't think they match up well in that series. And I think they're fortunate, honestly, that it's not over already because they've been outplayed for the most part in that series. How important is it that the Heat finish this now? Because we thought they were going to get a long break before the Eastern Conference Finals. And now if they lose today, it's possible that they may finish second of the two teams, and actually Boston may be waiting for them.
Well, I watched the last game. You can tell that Eric Spoelstra is probably one of the worst poker players on the planet because you've heard the expression wearing your emotions on your sleeves. He wears his emotions on his face, and he looked visibly annoyed. He looked visibly annoyed at the way the Heat were playing. So I would say he's going to demand a maximum effort tonight. So yeah, they got to finish. They got to finish tonight for their mental health. I would say it's a mental health win. I know that's a very old Spoism, but I think he used it at one point when they were 9-8. And remember that infamous first season with the Big Three. He said this was a mental health win when they beat, I think, Washington. Yeah. Remember?
Yeah.
I think
then they won 21 out of 22. If you recall.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that not to go overboard with this. I don't think it's like the end of the world if they lose. Although it's not good, but this is a mental health victory tonight if they can get it. They win this one. They did what they were supposed to do. They got to feel really, really good about themselves, finishing off this team in 5 games and just getting ready for Boston and hopefully getting a rest with a Toronto win in Game 6. Although I doubt it after that performance.
I doubt it. One of the reasons I thought it was a little surprising that the Bucks made such a public show of Giannis preparing to play tonight is that I almost think it would have been better for them not to show that hand if he wasn't going to play and get the Heat kind of, a little bit lackadaisical today. Like, oh, well, we're not going to see Giannis in this series again anyway. Now I feel like the fact that Giannis was close to playing today may push the Heat over the edge to show a little bit more effort tonight. It's like, well, we don't want this to be 3-2, and all of a sudden Giannis feels a little bit better in 2 days. And then all that really has to happen is for us to lose to the 2-time MVP twice in a row. It kind of whenever you talk about coming back, I know nobody's done the 3-0 thing, ever come back. But whenever you talk to coaches about coming back from 3-1, it's always just get the game. Get the one game, make it 3-2, and make the other team start to think about, oh shit, we're gonna blow this thing. Okay, sorry for cursing. I know we can't get paid when we curse. And
no, we get paid. It's not shown everywhere, but we get paid. Don't worry.
All right, I won't do it again. I apologize. It's gonna happen on the post game. But I do feel like the 2-1, like 3-1, if you get the one, it's like sort of some of the pressure shifts to the team that's up 3-2. It really shifts to the Heat if they lose tonight, and there's a chance Giannis is coming back in Game 6, right, Adam?
Yeah, I 100% agree. I actually think that if the Bucks were to somehow come out with a win today, not only will the Heat get torn apart from the media, I think that the public opinion of the Heat goes down completely, and I think that the public as a whole will shift all of their attention to the Bucks coming out and winning this. You'll see that the Bucks will get favored to win the series again, and you'll see just all the momentum switched back to the Bucks, and I think that would just spell disaster for any Heat fan or any member of the Heat, and I think that's something you just need to avoid. And you started to see a little bit of doubt in the Heat with Heat fans after the Bucks won the last game, and I think if they win this one, it's going to be amplified times 10.
By the way, Alf is free. He's hosting the post-game show. He's not been banished. He's just working, I think.
We're just saving him to close it out.
That's right. Yeah,
he's in deep preparation for the post game right now.
That's right. He's deep preparation at the bottom of the bottle. All right. So Brady, it does shift though, right? I mean, people are not going to feel good about it on Twitter and other places. If the Heat will be up 3-2, it will not feel like that.
Yeah, but I also think that we said it over and over, kind of they have that mentality, that underdog mentality, especially Jimmy, that when they're in that position, they usually thrive more. I don't think they're going to let it get to that position, and I think they're going to close it out today. But if it was to happen and they were to get to that point, I think it just puts more, it just gets more, and Jimmy and Bam and all those guys get more and more comfortable with the situation. Not that that obviously you don't want to be in that comfortable in that situation, but I think they could find a way either way.
Who's more likely to get snubbed from one of the two all-defensive teams at 6:30? Because somebody from the Heat always gets snubbed. Is it going to be Jimmy or is it going to be Bam?
Bam,
Jimmy.
because people
Probably
don't know what they're
Bam,
looking
because
at.
He's
Jimmy.
too young still.
Jimmy.
You think it's Jimmy?
Bam finished 5th in Defensive Player of the Year. There's no way they leave him off.
Yeah.
Do they? I'm trying to think. Did they split it by position again? I used to vote for this thing, but I don't anymore. Is it split by position or is it just the 5 guys like it is for all rookie?
I think it's split.
Yeah, it's position.
Okay, so
Yeah, I think they go 2 guards and 3
Gobert?
forwards, I believe, is what they can do.
Okay, because Bam is technically a forward, right? Bam
Mhm.
started at forward this year, not at center. Myers Leonard was the Heat center this season.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the bubble, but pre-bubble. And remember, the awards were decided upon prior to the bubble games, which in some ways hurts Bam because I think more people saw him in the bubble, but it also makes him a forward. I think they both make it, but I think if either of them is snubbed, it's Bam. I think it's Bam. I think voters default to the name they know, and there's a lot of voters on that list who should not be voting.
Name them.
As you'll see. Oh, come on. You know who you know who all of them are. We're still trying to get over that Carmelo Anthony vote for MVP the year that LeBron should have been unanimous, right? Then there was some idiot who worked at the time, I think, for the Palm Beach Post who voted for Derrick Rose over LeBron. Anyway, let's get to it tonight. And again, we're going to be back here. By the way, yes, the JJ pod with Bosch. He did bring up random scrub heat killers. Anybody hear that? The JJ Redick pod? It's a good listen. That Chris Bosch was on. He talked about random scrub heat killers. All right, well, let's do this before we get the prediction. If the Heat lose tonight, who is the random scrub heat killer? I'm going.
Oh my God.
It has to be DiVincenzo.
Nah, it's Ersan Ilyasova coming off the bench for 15 minutes and scores 25 points.
And he's going to injure a Heat player on his way, too.
Yes, he falls down and hurts somebody.
I don't want to call George Hill a scrub, but I think if there's going to be another guy like that just plays good for them on the offensive side, I think it'll be George Hill.
And by the way, I'm not joking. I actually do fear Ersan Ilyasova.
No, I know you do. It comes right through the screen.
The Philly, I don't know if you guys remember, but the Philly series, it was him and who else? It was him, JJ, and Bellinelli.
Yes.
One-legged threes all day.
Mm-hmm.
If they caught it in rhythm, it wouldn't go in. But if it was off of one foot, it'd always go in.
I think
That's
Milwaukee's going to sign Marco prior to tip-off. That would be the way to go.
That's how people must feel going against Duncan. How
Yeah,
do you feel
except
watching that?
Duncan, I think, is no longer well. I mean, to other fans of other teams, he might be considered. I mean, to me, the ultimate random scrub heat killer is Ish Smith. He just embodies it in every way. He's dominant against the Heat. All right, one more thing I want to get to, and then we'll get to the picks. I don't know if you guys saw this, but NBA Central retweeted it, so now it's everywhere. My notifications are blowing up. But the odds from one of the sports books, not one of the ones we use, by the way. By the way, a couple of things I want to mention here. YouBreakWheelFix.com. Make sure you check that out because they're in North Miami. And not only can they fix your wheels, our guy Mark is great at doing it down there. I visited the shop, checked it out. Everybody working hard. But also, you get 10% off for refinishing wheels. So you can put the Vice colors on. You can put, they got Dolphins colors. They were finishing a truck with Dolphins colors when I was down there. Check it out. It's YouBreak Wheel Fix, like WHEEL Fix.com. And also, if you mention 5 Reasons Wheels, you get 10% off. But honestly, if you just mention a Mark down there, 5 Reasons, he'll know what to do. So make sure you check that out. We've got a great promotion coming up with 5 rings canes and 3 yards per carry that's going to be coming up in the next week. But I want to get to this tweet here. It's not from MyBookie, which also you should go there too. MyBookie.ag. Use the code 5 on the floor, and you'll get your initial deposit doubled, which I just did to place a bet. But I also tweeted out this thing. This came from, I'm trying to find the, here it is. It was from sportsbetting.ag. Giannis's next team, if he leaves Milwaukee, the leader in the clubhouse, the Heat, plus 300, which is 3-1, which is not great odds. Raptors plus 400, 4-1. This one I did not expect. The Pelicans plus 500, 5-1. They would have to do some machinations to get there. I don't know how well he fits next to Zion, but I don't doubt David Griffin. This one's just ridiculous. I'm going to laugh it off the board. The Knicks at plus 500, 5-1. And then this one is almost as ridiculous. The Sixers. The Sixers.
He'd fit perfect with Ben Simmons and Embiid.
Oh, yeah, no. The spacing would be tremendous. The Sixers plus 500 at 5-1. Notably, 10-1 or worse, the Warriors and the Mavs, both of which I think should be on the list instead of the Pelicans, Knicks, or Sixers.
I think those two teams are with Miami and Toronto as the favorites. At least that's.
But that's what we've heard. Thank you for the Ethan Mike.
We
fund.
got
Much
some money
appreciated.
for Ethan. Thank you, guys.
Does that make up for the 11%
It
drop
does.
in the stock market over the last 4 days? It does not. So send me more.
Send more.
It does
send
make up
more.
for the cursing a little bit ago.
Yeah, exactly. Right? It makes up for it. Heat plus 300, Raptors plus 400. Gun to your head. Well, no, we won't use that analogy. I don't know. Water gun to your head right now, okay? If I was to say Heat or Raptors, take the Bucks out of the equation. Let's just say it's just one of those two. Which does he choose, Adam?
I think you have to go with the Heat. I think it's a no question. I don't see how the Raptors. I think the only thing the Raptors have is Kyle Lowry and Masai Ujiri. And does Giannis really want to play with a 35-year-old Kyle Lowry? The window's really small. So I think you got to look at the Heat, and that's why they're the favorite.
What do you think? Anybody taking the Raptors?
No, and if you think about their game with Pascal Siakam, like where does he like to catch it? Where does he operate from? Everywhere Giannis would want to operate from. So I think it would be, it's stupid to say, okay, we don't want the great player, but it's kind of a redundant style with those two. So yeah, I would say Miami and Golden State, like the only teams that I can see sitting down with Giannis and making a realistic case to buck the Heat would be Dallas and Golden State. And I would put Golden State above them. And that's it. And Golden State's case is pretty simple. We got Clay, we got Steph. You're number 3. Let's go win championships. So, I think that's really the only team I would fear if I'm Miami.
Well, Golden State and Miami can both say, look, we've done it before. And the timeline, like you said, is that their two best players are closer in age. I mean, they're not of age, but they're closer in age than Lowry is.
Yeah,
So
and I don't see him going to Toronto just because that means he still have to face Bam in the playoffs and get locked up in the playoffs still. So I wouldn't see him making that decision.
You guys don't see the Euro League in Dallas? You don't see that at all? All the European players?
I would put them in that little group of
I would put them above the Warriors.
I might too. I just think that the fit, we're underrating the fit with Luka. I think the fit's there. And people are like, well, they both need the ball in their hands. They'd figure it out. I'm not that. To me, that's an easier thing to figure out than LeBron and Wade was together. They would figure it out. Luka would adjust his game enough, and he's an elite long-range shooter. Like it's
and I feel crazy saying this, but it's the only team he can go to where. Remember when LeBron came here and Le Batard said he's the best player in the world, but he might not be the best player on this team?
Right.
Okay, he goes to Dallas. You can make a case Luka Doncic is a better player than Giannis.
Well, he's also younger.
Yeah.
Also younger. I mean, that's the difference between coming down here and playing with Wade. LeBron was younger. LeBron was 3.5 years younger. It's the opposite there. So I do think that plays into it. The line that Riley's going to use and you mentioned Le Batard. The line that Riley's going to use is the same line that he used in 2010 or when he started planning for 2010. Why wouldn't they come here if they could, right? That's the line. Why wouldn't they come here? And he's going to say the same thing about Giannis. You've got shooters. You've got a leader in Jimmy to take the pressure off of you. You've got a close friend and competitor in Bam. Why would you? We've won titles. You've got no state tax. You got beautiful weather. Why would you not come here if you could? And the case that the others are going to make is, I think, more compelling than the case that others made against him for LeBron. Chicago, New York, the other teams that were in contention for LeBron, Cleveland, could not make the same kind of competitive case that Dallas can, that Golden State can, and to an extent that Toronto can. It's going to be more compelling. So I think we got to check that out. All right, let's get to tonight. People are asking if Giannis is going to play. We did cover that at the beginning. He is not playing He did arrive. We played the. You want to play the video again, Alejandro, and then we'll get to the picks.
We can play it at the end. We can
All right,
finish
we'll play
it.
it. We'll play it at the end. We got Giannis moving to a game he's not going to actually play. All right. Tonight, Chris Middleton. We think maybe Marvin Williams starts. Maybe they go small. They play George Hill. We do think DJJ plays more minutes in this game. We think Olynyk gets more time. We don't think Eric shrinks the rotation to 7. I have the Heat by 12 tonight. I do think they finish it out, and I think it starts with Jimmy and Goran. They've been the pace setters in the playoffs. Both of them were off in Game 4. Both of them, in my view, didn't bring the requisite energy. Goran played too many minutes, and he kind of wore down. I think you get a day to refocus. I think Jimmy wants to end this thing now. And I think you're going to get a more aggressive Jimmy Butler performance. They may not get the Bam performance they got in the last one, but I think you'll get a better Jimmy performance, and it'll be enough. I like the Heat by 12. Adam?
I like the Heat by 6 or 7, but it won't be as close as the box score suggests.
4-point favorites, by the way. 4.5. 4.5. Number's gone up from 2. It's probably 6 right now after finding out Giannis is not playing. Alfredo, who do you like?
Well, I said that Eric Spoelstra seemed completely annoyed, and after watching that game 4, I think he gets into them to play with maximum effort. I think you're going to see them execute at a high level. They're going to play their best game. I've been saying it for 8 games now, waiting for their best game. We get to see their best game tonight. They win big, 15 points.
All right. Brady, what do you like? Brady,
Yeah,
Brady needs a mic too, so send Brady some money for a mic.
That's true. I think it's gonna be like exactly what you said. I think it's gonna be a big Goran first half. I think he's gonna put on a scoring display like he has been as of late, which ultimately will give him some second half rest. And I think, like you said, I think Jimmy closes. He's heard some of the things that he heard about the last game, that he wasn't there at the end of that game, and I think he's gonna come up big and end it early. It's not gonna go down to the end. He's gonna be like a double-digit one.
All right, Alejandro, before you play this sad Giannis video, who do you like?
No, I like the Heat, but I don't know why they've struggled so much during the series. It's not in that Game 4 only. Every time Giannis was out, sitting out, resting, the Heat didn't find the way to actually make the most out of those minutes. So I think it's going to be a little closer than we think. Heat by 3.
Also, I wanted to say the Heat haven't blown a team out in the entire playoffs so far.
That's true.
Not once. So
that's true.
just
They
keep it in
had
mind.
moments where they looked like they were going to, but then didn't, in part because we started naming the third quarter things. We're not going to do that again. Play that video one. By the way, Alf post-game show he's just mad about a bunch of stuff. So he's going to be on here post-game. I'll be on a pod with Sylvander and with Brady. This is the last time, well, not the last time. He's got one more season, and who knows? They're probably not going to trade him. He's probably going to free agency. The last time this season that Giannis goes into an arena with his team, show the sad video, Alejandro. We'll close there. End scene.
You see that guy at the end?
He's like, no, stop recording. So thank you guys. We'll be joining you guys after the game. So right after the game, we'll be here. Of course, with the post game. Thank you to all of you that sent some money. Andres Bayona, thank you. Who else was there? Horacio Fall, thank you. All the guys that are sending some messages, thank you guys. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're gonna leave this streaming going on and reading some of your comments. And thank you guys again for joining us.